strapped in tight with the steering wheel glow. Engines roar as the tension starts to grow. All the racers lined up feeling the heat. The Matt Malone League is where legends meet. Push the pedal, let the tires scream, chasing glory in the fast lane dream. One wrong move could shatter the fight, but we're speeding through the Patreon night. Heartbeats echo in the revving sound. Each corner sharp, where champions are found. Dust flies high as rivals clash and spin. The path to the podium's where it all begins. Push the pedal, let the tires scream, chasing glory in the fast lane dream. One wrong move could shatter the fight, but we're speeding through the Patreon night. No shortcuts here, just burning track. One chance forward, there's no turning back. Every racer's name carved into the grind, a community fueled by a passionate mind. Night lights sparkle on the asphalt maze. Through every twist, a fiery blaze. The crowd's electric, their pulses ignite. Matt Malone's turf lights up the night. Push the pedal, let the tires scream, chasing glory in the fast lane dream. One wrong move could shatter the fight, but we're speeding through the Patreon
But it is this man, Matty Gwill, who crosses the line once again. But he is at the top of the standings. The lights are green and we are away here at Mosport for round number 3. And Showtime has had a very slow start in comparison to Matty Gwill, who has just pulled away nice and easy off of the line. Checkers has moved into P2, Showdown down to P3 as they come up towards turn number 5. Look at the lead that Matty Gwill has. Checkers holds on, Showtime is stuck on the outside as Slugger on the inside of 5B. Through goes Slugger into P number 3, Turbo Snail and Jess Snackle side by side, but Snackle holds on for P12. Latufu falls down to P16. This is another championship contender, tied with Slugger in the points. He's not doing well. A swap up front. Mecharm has got past Drucks TV for P number 7. This is a huge battle going on right now, and it leads up to Showtime in P4. That is where this train goes all the way to, and it looked like that was extra Pickles off the circuit ever so slightly on the exit of turn 1. That's compromised his line into turn 2, and a huge crash, and that's Matt Malone involved in that. Car in front of him on the curb, into the air, and a big hit with the wall. Aulatufu here in P13, right behind Turbo Snail. Right ahead of him into the White Husky, because he's just moved into P13. He's a second behind Turbo Snail. Aulatufu now needs to turn this race into a recovery drive. Mecharm is right behind Extra Pickles. He touches the grass, but he holds on through turn number 8. can't place his car up the inside of turn 9, but now Extra Pickles knows Meckham is there. A bad exit from turn number 1 for Extra Pickles. Meckham on the outside into turn 2. It's not the optimal racing line, and it could put him under attack here from Nick Bowen. Nick Bowen ties up the inside, has to back out of it. It's going to make him a little bit slow, very possibly, but Meckham holds on to 6th. But here comes Tony Gibboni is at the inside of Turbo Snell. Is there going to be contact? They run side by side into turn number 9 and into turn 10. There is contact, and Tony Gibboni goes around and he comes on. So a big hit there, and another huge whack as 4 cars all fall down the order. As Turbo Snell and the Hernster run side by side, they briefly exchange positions, but the Hernster moves back through. Checkers has gone around. Checkers is down the order, putting Slugger in P2 and perfect position for the championship lead. What has happened here to Checkers into 5B? He loses the rear end and he gets it off the circuit as quick as he can. Checkers though now under attack. He's lost the position to Extra Pickles. He almost lost the position to Meckham, but Meckham has been trying so hard to get Extra Pickles, and now Checkers is in between them. That's put Extra Pickles off the racing line, and around the outside it looked like he held it. Brilliant contact behind Meckham. Oh, more contact, and that's the driver off into the grass. That's Nick Bowen, and a big spin behind. What has happened to him? He's all the way down in 27th position. He's visited pit lane a number of times. He has received a meeple flag. What's happened? He's gone wide at turn number 3, Quebec corner, and a big hit. Is that Outlet Tufu? It is without any aero. I'm gonna say, I think I know why Outlet Tufu has not found his way up the order, but he wants to go higher. He wants to get Extra Pickles, and it looks like he might do that. Less than a tenth between them. He moves to the left, a little bit of a wobble on the rear end. Look how close they are. Mech Arm just a tenth of a second behind Extra Pickles. Palski is cleared. No, Mech Arm's off. In all of that, Mech Arm, he was following Extra Pickles for so long. The biggest loser in this race is Matt Malone. He started in 10th position. He's fallen down to 31st and out of this race. There's an issue there for Checkers once more. Checkers had just returned to P3, and it is turn 5 again. Tried to get himself spun for full 360, but a little bit earlier, this time in turn 5. The same corner he went on before. He's lost the position to Outlet Tufu. Outlet Tufu wobbles. Meckham gets scared, and he slams it into the wall. That is a real shame for Meckham. Less than a minute on the clock. It looks like we are going to get one more lap after this race. As a round goes Checkers, and a huge accident there. The number of cars involved through the final corner, from pole to the win for the second week in a row, but this time it's by Matty Gwill who takes the win. Slugger takes P2, followed behind by Showtime. Welcome to the round 4 of the Matt Malone Patron League here at the Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. A circuit full of ups and downs, both figuratively and literally. We have had 3 large fields of drivers head out onto the virtual tarmac this season as we start to burrow deep into the season's schedule. In just a few minutes' time, our drivers will head out onto the 20-minute open qualifying session to fight it out for pole position, with poles being won by Slugger, Richard Dempsey and Matty Gwill in the opening 3 rounds, It's anyone's guess who will be at the top of the timing sheets at the end of the session. And with 3 different pole sitters comes 3 different race winners. Matt Malone, Richard Dempsey and Missy Will taking the winners' trophies home so far at the end of the season. At the end of the races, sorry. With Matt Malone being the only race winner to not win from pole position, qualifying really is making the difference so far this season. But before we focus too much on today's race, what do we have in store for the rest of the season? Well, next week we round off May in the Ligier P3s at Road America. I say it every week, but it's the fastest cars around the fastest track of not only the month, but the whole season, if you ignore the oval, of course. Talking of ovals, after a week's break, we head to Charlotte Motor Speedway in the trucks. The style of this race, being on an oval, will break the usual format and will be limited by laps in both qualifying and race for the first time and only time this season. Back to normal on June 21st, and we are into Matt Malone's natural habitat, the Global Mazda MX-5 Cups at Virginia International Raceway. It's easy to forget that Matt likes the Mazdas and VIR to add to that. So patrons, watch out, this is your race to prove you are better than Matt Malone at a combination he loves. Something a bit different? Don't worry, we've got you covered on June 28th with the VW Beetles at Summit Point Raceway. I'm expecting even more carnage than the Radicals last week. American Muscle? Yes, please. July 5th will see the Ford Mustang and Chevrolet Corvette GT3s fight it out around Watkins Glen. Then onto my favourite combo after another week's break, the F4s at Portland on July 19th. I raced this car track combo religiously the week it was official at the beginning of the iRacing season. It was where I truly fell in love with the F4s, and I have not left them since. And finally, on July 26th, we finished the season off with a banger. GT3s at Daytona. Slowdowns after the bus stop? Yes, we will. Esports lines into turn 1. Oh, yeah. Carnage and mayhem. To finish the season, sign me up. The Matt Malone Patreon League continues here at Road Atlanta in the Porsche Cups today. But does the calendar seem like something you're interested in? Then head over to the Matt Malone's Patreon and subscribe today. Get your name on the list and join the drivers on track next week. This series is open to any and all of Matt Malone's patrons, so we will see a wide spread of skill level out on track. From those who have been dedicating their lives to the service for more than a decade, to those who have got a 3-month code from Matt Malone last week. Our drivers are all sharing the same piece of virtual tarmac to achieve those coveted Matt Malone prizes. That's right, prizes! And the driver taking home P1 at the end of the championship will be receiving 2 items from the merch store and $60 in iRacing credits. Of course, they'll have their bragging rights and the all-important VIP badge in Matt Malone's Twitch chat. If you're in P2 though, don't worry, you've got a god deal as well. With 2 merch items and $20 iRacing credits, you too will get that coveted VIP badge. But make sure you buy the winner a coffee. They beat you after all. And third place, you'll get $20 of iRacing credits too. But don't think about chatting to Matt Malone about it, because you'll be visiting Twitch jail for 24 hours with a ban from his chat. But you'll get that $20 credit though, so it's worth it. And no buying of coffee. Sounds like a win to me. After the third round last week, the 2 drop weeks have already been applied, so there's little point evaluating the championship standings before today's race. But with a winner piece, Richard Dempsey and Matty Grill are tied for the top spot at the moment. Matt Malone, of course, is up there with them, but he will not be counted towards the season's rewards. Bragging rights only for him. So what about the car we'll be driving today? Introduced in the 2021 Porsche Super Cup season, the latest generation of Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars on the iRacing service hosts 510 horsepower in its 4-litre flat 6. A difficult car to drive, a ruthless one to master. It will take patience and skill to put your car towards the front of the field today, and the track we'll be taking these cars around isn't going to make it easy. A roller coaster of a racetrack, the 2.54-mile circuit climbs and falls through the Brazelton countryside. Home to the Petite Le Mans, Road America was opened in 1970 with the running of an SCCA Can-Am race. The chicane at the end of the circuit was added 26 years later in the late 90s, slowing down the dreaded dip at the end of the lap. Our drivers better buckle themselves in for this one, and I hope you have too. The 4th round of the Matt Malone Patreon League is here. I hope you are doing absolutely fantastic today and you have been enjoying all of the great racing. I had a little bit of an extra chance to jump behind the commentary booth this week because I crashed out of the Clio race, but that's okay. Instead, we have got a fantastic Patreon League race lined up for you. What a circuit this is, and I still dare not jump into the Porsche. I obviously own it. I had to buy it so that I could broadcast the race this week, and I still did not want to get behind the wheel. It scares me looking at it. It is a beautiful looking car though. I am a big fan of the Porsches, but driving one of these things, no, I'm going to stay up here in my virtual commentary booth, that is for sure. But the drivers will be heading down onto the circuit within the next few minutes, where they'll be trying to put their cars at the top of the timing sheet. Like I said, we've had 3 different pole sitters so far this season, and it could be a 4th here today. Slugger, is he going to be able to put it on pole and finally convert that into a win, which he missed out on so close at Okayama at round 1? Is Richard Dempsey going to be able to put his car on pole position once more and dominate the field like he did at Laguna Seca, the only race he has currently taken part in this season? Or is Matty Quill going to be able to convert another pole position into a race win? After a strong start at Laguna Seca, he spun the car going up towards the final turns, out of the lead of the race on lap number 1. He didn't do that though at Mosport, and he took his Radical all the way to the checkered flag, and he took a win. The championship standings, therefore, with the 2 drop weeks already apply, means that we are in a 3-way tie for that championship lead. Today, we will see a accurate representation of the championship standings because we will have 2 races counted towards the championship. Of course, there's a lot more coming up though. So as the season goes along, it's going to be interesting to see who rises to the top and who falls to the bottom. But a strong start for a lot of familiar names towards the top. Aula Tufu being a driver that has been putting himself consistently near the front of the field, as is obviously Slugger. Pole position at Okayama, just couldn't convert that into a race win. We've got Checkers near the front as well. Diabetes Wolf getting quite close up there in 7th position in the championship, heading into the drop weeks, and not including Laguna Seca. And I think that, not including Mosport. And I think it's important right now that you don't just look at that championship order the way it is, because it's only including their best races of the season so far. It's not taking into account all of the other races that have been raced, and that could severely impact the championship as we continue on. But as the clock clicks to 2:30 Central Time, we are going to be jumping into the session for the Porsche 911 GT3 Cups at Road Atlanta, and we will get qualifying underway once the session opens up. 20 minutes of open qualifying, of course, which means all of our drivers are going to be jumping out onto that field together. And as the season progresses, the numbers in the league do continue to increase. So hopefully we'll have another large field tonight. It's going to be an interesting one. I think we're going to have, even though that Radical last week was quite a crazy race, I think with the challenges of the Porsche, how difficult it can be to drive, I do think that we are going to have possibly a little bit more carnage in this race. So as we just wait for the session to officially open so that we can jump in, I know that if you are driving tonight, you have, well, a few of you will probably have got in some laps to prepare. Not all of you have been totally focused on the Matt Malone Patron League, though, with a number of drivers racing today that were just in the Renault Clio League, finishing off that mini season at Sebring. As the session is officially open, we are going to get ourselves into that session, and we'll see where drivers are lining up, if anyone has been able to get in a lap time by the time we jump in. There we go. So I haven't been able to do any editing on the AtVo overlay, so we do not have the championship standings incorporated just yet, but that is something that I am working on as I continue to improve the quality of the broadcasts as the season goes on. Obviously, every single broadcast is a learning opportunity, so please do not hesitate to tell me when something is not working. If you are new around here and you want to catch every single race of the Matt Malone Patron League, then be sure to hit that follow button here on Beehive Bill. And if you want to support me further so that I am able to continue broadcasting these events, please consider subscribing so I can buy the content that we will be racing in as the season progresses. Road Atlanta then. An absolute roller coaster. That first sector. The amount of times I have thrown a car into the wall through that first sector. Through turn 1, I've thrown it into the wall. Turn 2, I've thrown it into the wall. Actually, do you know what? Every single turn 3, turn 4, and turn 5, I have managed to throw this car into the wall. Oh, throw cars into the wall, not necessarily this car. Many different cars into the wall over the years on a countless number of simulators, from Automobilista to R-Factor 2 to Race Room to iRacing. And now the qualifying is live. Drivers are heading out, so we will get ourselves across onto there in just one moment's time so that we can see the wonderful Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars head around this roller coaster of a circuit, as I just wait for everything to work and to load. Unfortunately, doing everything by myself, I do occasionally run into some technical issues, but it looks like we are good with the technical issues right now. So let's head across to our main screen. There we are. We've got a couple of drivers heading out. That's the Hernster running ahead of Extra Pickles in that number 1 machine, as we will get our... my theme is not working. Ignore that! You never saw anything. I will get the theme up, and we will be able to get our overlay up, and we will be able to see what is going on here. So, drivers at the moment, we haven't got any laps, valid laps set, but we are about to, and once we get our overlay up, we will be able to see, as we've got a couple of drivers crossing the line there. Look how fast they are through the end of that lap. I was amazed that chicane actually was added back in the 90s when the circuit was opened so many years before that. It was, imagine that climbing that drop at such fast speeds. Right, it looks like we are good to go. I've got my live timing, and Bob Shelley and Extra Pickles are the two drivers with lap times so far. As we watch Diabetes Wolf there in the number 14 machine, who's not currently set a valid lap. This is Eric Yeagle. But let's start watching some drivers as they head around. Let's pick on some drivers. Here is Richard Dempsey. He is the number 6 machine, heading down onto the brakes into turn 10A and through the exit turn B, over the hill. And he is going to cross the line. Where is he going to cross the line is going to be the question. It looks like he goes onto the top spot at the moment. Richard Dempsey, fastest man out on track right now. We've got Mecharm. He is coming through the final turn in his Mountage 2 machine, and that is not for a lap time, but he's about to start one. So we are going to actually ride on board then with Mecharm. He's going to show us a lap of Road Atlanta through turn number 1. He gets, he's a bit scared of the curbings there through turn 1 and turn 2 as he gets over the curb and turn 3. Now this is the downhill, proper roller coaster section here. just finding his feet at the moment, finding his confidence up the hill. I expect to see quite a lot of issues through turn number 5 on the exit of the S's, running over those curbs and up towards turn number 6. That position icon that shows the position from outside the car is in a perfect spot for this camera angle, don't you think? Through turn number 7 and onto what I would consider the back straight, but you can't really call it a straight. Slugger's moved into P2, by the way, in our standings right now. He's 3 tenths off of Richard Dempsey, though. So are we going to find our first repeat pole sitter of the season? That is a question. Ignore this. You didn't see anything there. Oh, I accidentally floated the wrong thing. Ignore this. You didn't see anything again there. Perfect. Excellent professional. Right. Meckham crosses the line. Where's he being able to put his car as he comes through? In P6. And then he's able to put it on the grass as well. Not quite where you would have wanted to place that. Aula Tufu's in P number 2. Sean Sims crossed the line. He's in 9th position. Should we get some qualifying info here? A nice lap of 23.5 for Sean Sims in that number 25 machine. Getting a lot of the curbing there, and he's decided to back out of that lap. There's Richard Burton. He's in the field somewhere. And here's Mr. Anders crossing the line to start his lap in the 747. Mr. Anders goes 5th position at the moment in qualifying. He has been extremely strong with pace, but unfortunately has had a few issues with technical issues as the season has gone on. So he has not been able to really place himself competitively near the front of the field. Matty Gwill is in 3rd. So right now in your top 3, Aula Tufu is the man who has not got a pole position. Slugger is in P6 right now, 1.2 seconds off of Richard Dempsey, who has gone extremely quickly at the front. As we continue to watch Mr. Anders, is he going to be able to improve? And I have to say that this is one of the nicest liveries on the Porsche that I think I have ever seen. That is absolutely lovely. 11 minutes on the clock then. Matt Malone is the fastest. He is yet to actually get a pole position in this league. He qualified P2 alongside Slugger in Okayama, but it's the GT cars that seem to be his best car to be in, as it turns out. It was the GT4s in which he took the win. And now it's these... Oh, as around goes Richard Dempsey here in qualifying. A big hit with the wall! And joining him is the Aula Tufu. The 2 cars off there. Oh, look at this livery. This is Matty Gwill. That is hypnotizing. The number 16 machine, Matty Gwill. He took the pole and the win last time out at Mosport in the Radicals. He is currently in 5th position. He is very, very close to Stingray Graham in 4th and only about a 10th off of Aula Tufu in 3rd, but he's 9 tenths off of that potential pole position. Weaving around, warming up his tyres. We're going to stick with Matty Gwill here. We're going to ride on board with him and see how his lap goes. We're on board with the number 16 machine here as he goes into turn number 12 and across the line to start a flying lap. He currently sits in P5. He needs to find about a second to get past Matt Malone. He tucks in tight to the apex on the right-hand side. Got the blimp in the sky, cheering him on. He gets to the left-hand side, brakes for turn number 3. Gets in, doesn't ride the curbing too much in turn 3. Just skims it in 4 through the S's now. Just a little bit of a lift, but keeping the power on. He comes off now for turn 5. Perfect over the curbing. Putting it just slightly over the line there, but that's absolutely fine. It will still be a valid lap. And gets onto the brakes, heavy now for turn 6. A car off in front of him. Hopefully it doesn't distract the number 16. Onto the brakes once more for turn number 7. He turns in and onto the not straight, back straight. This is turn number 8 technically here. The little kink to the left. And that kink to the right coming up is turn number 9. Matty will move slowly over to the right-hand side, make this track the shortest he possibly can as he heads up towards turn 10. He's going to slam heavy on the brakes here, turn across over the curbing, slightly on the grass, does the same the other way. A little bit of gravel on the circuit there from a car rejoining, and he's going to head over the hill and up through turn 11 into turn 12, and he's going to cross the line. Will he improve? He does not improve. Matic will remain in P number 5, but will continue to run around this lap, trying to get further up the order. Drivers down towards the back of the field. We've got Toti Racing in his 7-Up machine coming out of pit lane. He is yet to put in a lap time here. We've got Richard Burton as well on track. The number 28 machine will be wanting to put in a lap as well. Iron Tequila down without a lap. Gabriel Mazzotti without a lap. And Jimmy Montana without a lap as well, as he's coming out of pit lane. Diabetes Wolf goes on to P19 and then into the wall as he decides he doesn't want to continue running any laps. A black flag for Slugger there on pit exit. He's going to reset and try that again. Richard Dempsey crosses the line. Will it be anything to catch up to Matt Malone? No, it will not. Very close though. Only 0.03 of a second slower than his personal best lap time. Can Dempsey improve this time, as we'll ride on board with the number 6 machine and see if Dempsey's able to move up from P number 2 and potentially be our first repeat pole sitter of the season. Matt Malone, like I said, he has won a race, he won Okayama, but he did not start from pole position. So it's 3 pole sitters in 3 races so far, and Matt Malone is looking to make it 4 in 4. Through turn number 6, Dempsey goes, pushing it right to the curbing on the outside, turns it across to get on to the not straight, back straight, and into turn number 8. This is looking like a nice lap time, but is it going to be enough to improve? Powski moves into 6th position, knocking Slugger down to P10. Down to P11 as Bob's Jelly goes into P10. So Slugger is not up where he wants to be in this race. He has been consistently near the front, and he'll be hoping to get back up there again. Of course, Matt Malone had a poor race last time out at Motorsport. Will he be able to recover here? Richard Dempsey crosses the line. He's dropped to 3rd because Matic Will has gone into 2nd. And Dempsey does not improve 0.2 of his personal best lap so far. So Matty Guil now in the top 3. Matt Malone is the only driver without a pole position so far. Aula Tufu will be hoping for that as well. He has been extremely close to the top of the leaderboard. Obviously, with the 2 drop weeks so far, Aula Tufu is not at the top of the championship. However, if you actually remove the 2 drop weeks from the season so far, I would say Aula Tufu on points would be in 1st position. Even without a win so far, I think that he would be on top. So he is one to look out for. Right now with the drop weeks, as Richard Dempsey decides enough is enough, Matty Guil is continuing around. Showtime moves up into P15. I think he is probably thinking, as Matty Guil also backs out of his lap with 5 minutes to go, will it be... Oh no, he is slowing down. He's not going back to pit lane. He wants to find some room, so he is going for another big push lap there. Extra Pickles in P number 8, the number 1 machine. Heading into turn 10A, turn B. A lovely, colourful machine that is. As I've lost my train of thought that I was talking about, let's have a look at Extra Pickles and see what his lap time can be as he starts a fresh one. It was a slow lap before, and now he is going to be pushing a very nice top 10, a very strong top 10 of names there, drivers that we have been seeing near the front of this field throughout the season so far. As Extra Pickles continues around down the S's now, as we've got a car around. It looks like that was Mintu the White Husky who went around there. So he'll be trying to get back out onto the track for one last push towards the end. That's what this is now in the final 4 minutes of this session. It is all going to be about trying to find that last little bit of time, as Matty Guil's got a car just off the racing line there. Hopefully that won't have slowed him down, because he is pushing in P2 to try and get up to pole position and take the first double pole position of the season. Matt Malone holding it right now to make it 4 for 4. Richard Dempsey also continuing his lap. He crosses the line. A 1:19 seems like not a lap that actually was valid. So nope, he will go around again and see if he can improve. Matty Quill once again backing out along the not back straight. Weaving his tyres, wanting to warm them up, trying to find a good position here. He's really going for these laps. He's a 3/10 gap to Matt Malone. I don't know where Malone's found this time, but he has found a hefty chunk of time around this circuit as Richard Dempsey heads up into turn number 6 in the car number 6 and heads on to the brakes. Onto the not straight, back straight. Will he improve on a 21.756? He needs to beat a 21.341. It's just over 0.4 of a second that he needs to find around this lap. And one thing that I am going to be doing on the overlay is getting sector times so that we can find out how they're doing as the lap progresses. Heavy onto the brakes though for turn 10A. Gets completely over the apex, onto the grass, doesn't touch the grass as it goes through 10B. Up over the crest through turn 11 and into the final turn. Will this be a faster lap than a 21.4? No, it is a 21.8, but he still has another lap to go, possibly even 2, because once the qualifying session's over, you get an additional 2 minutes to finish lap you on. So I think he might get 2 more opportunities here. Matty Quill along the back straight, and is he going to keep his foot in? He does this time. He's thinking this might be a good lap, and will it be enough to beat the 21.3 or even his own 21.6, get himself a little further away from Richard Dempsey. Over the hill he goes, up towards the final corner in his hypnotising red and white machine. Across the line he goes. What's it going to be? An invalid lap for Matty Quill. So now it looks like it's just updated to a 21.9. So 0.3 off, not what he wanted. This will be possibly his last lap. I don't know if he has enough time to get onto one more. It will be extremely close. 28 drivers with lap times right now. 32 drivers in the session. A few changes once more. But right now, the top driver is Matt Malone with an improved lap of a 21.114. Where has he found this time? He's over half a second clear of Matty Quill. Matty Quill's got the 31 in front of him. If he wants to get in another lap time here, he is going to have to push hard to get one more valid lap in. Directly behind him on the circuit is Richard Dempsey. Is Dempsey going to be able to get another lap in? Or is this going to be his final chance at getting past Matty Quill? He only needs to find a 10th to get past Matty Quill. As Extra Pickles moves up into P4, knocking out Latufu down to 5th and Wyatt way down to 6th. So a couple of positions found for the number 1 machine of Extra Pickles. Right, through the final turn, here goes Richard Dempsey. Will he improve? No, look at that time. That looks extremely slow. But he does get onto one more lap. And ahead of him is Matty Quill. We're going to ride on board here with Richard Dempsey. He's the one trying to close up and get past Matty Quill in the time. And Matty Quill's just pulled off to the side. Matty Quill has decided he cannot improve on his last lap. So he's out of the equation now. Will Richard Dempsey be able to get past Matty Quill? Will anyone be able to touch Matt Malone? Or are we going to go with 4 for 4 for pole positions? 4 different drivers in the first 4 rounds. But looking at the top 3, I think... Oh, and that's going to be an issue for Richard Dempsey. A car coming straight back into his racing line. He got onto the brakes for turn number 7 though, so maybe it won't hinder him too much. But looking at those top 3 though, all of those top 3 have won a race before. So we might get a new pole sitter, but will we get a new race winner? The session is over. Drivers are now coming and finishing the laps that they are on through turn number 10. Over the hill and into turn 11 and up to the final turn Will this be enough for Richard Dempsey? It's looking like a good lap, but it's a 22.2. It's not quite enough. He really pushed that hard, going over the grass there at the end, and around he goes. That was an absolutely fantastic qualifying session. Drivers finishing their lap times. It looks like we've come to the end, so what we are going to do is have a quick run through our grid. It's Matt Malone on pole position for the first time in the Matt Malone Patron League. Matty Grill will start from P2. Richard Dempsey is in third, followed by Extra Pickles. Al Latifi will start on row number 3 alongside Wyatt Way. Stingray Graham will start on 7th, and Bob's Jelly in 8th position. In 9th will be Mecharm, followed by Totally Racing. Sean Sims is the first driver outside of the top 10, followed by Mr. Anders, who hoping that he won't have any technical issues today. Powski will be in 13th. Eric Jaeger will start in 14th position. And championship contender Slugger down in 15th. Right Click will start on the 8th row in 16th position. Very quickly through the rest of the field, then we've got Diabetes Wolf, Showtime, Tony Jabroni and the Hernster rounding out the top 20. Turbo Snail, Buster became a gearhead. Mintu the White Husky, Crisps in P24, Provi in P25, and a broken field on the right-hand side, as the grid has decided. It doesn't want to show the rest of the field, so I will tell you the rest of the field instead. After Provi, it's Jimmy Montana, followed by Dodo Deadman, Greg Gorilla Phonic, Richard Burton, Iron Tequila, Brandon Wimler, and Gabrielle Mazzotti. Drivers then on the grid and will be lining up. Look at them there. They disappear around turns number 12. And they will be preparing themselves for the 20 minutes of racing. That'll be about 15 laps here at Road Atlanta. Matt Malone, for the first time this season, will be starting on pole position. Matty Gwill behind in second, and Richard Dempsey in third. It's the 3 drivers tied for the championship lead at the top of the field in first, second, and third. This is going to be a great one. 20 seconds left on the clock for gridding. We're just waiting for those final drivers to jump onto the grid and hope that they can survive this 20-minute race. Matty Grill and Richard Dempsey will be hoping that they are able to get past Matt Malone. And Al Latifi, championship contender, will be hoping that the drivers in front of him might make some mistakes and he can make his way past them. As the race is about to begin, the drivers will rev up their engines. And we are a green. Round 4 is a go. And a poor start there for Matty Grill. A fantastic start for Extra Pickles. Gets onto P at number 2. Around the outside of Richard Dempsey. Extra Pickles holds on to second. Richard Dempsey is going to try and fight back though. Is he going to be able to make it through into turn number 3? There's not enough room. And Extra Pickles goes from 4th to second at the start. Richard Dempsey holds on to third, and Matty Grill falls to P number 4. Matt Malone keeps it nice and clean up the front though as the race continues behind. 20 minutes of racing has started and drivers are hoping that they'll survive the whole time, and there's already issues towards the back. Al Latifi has made his way past Matty Grill as Richard Dempsey we saw there up the inside of Extra Pickles, and he's into P2 once more. Extra Pickles is going to chase behind though. Let's see if he can return the favour, maybe get up the inside into turn 10A. Of course it is a heavy braking zone. Richard Dempsey's going to have to pick his side. Which one's he going to go for? He's going to stay for the ride, and Extra Pickles dies at the very last moment to go up the inside. He's on the grass. There's contact. There's contact, and around goes Extra Pickles. They recover, but Matty Grill goes through to P number 2. Al Latifi on the outside. There's more contact, and Al Latifi is around at the final turn. What a shame for him. And there's more contact. Mr. Anders is around. Absolute mayhem. Absolute pandemonium in the background as the drivers continue through. But this has given Matt Malone a huge gap now of about 4 seconds. The race continues behind. It's absolute chaos. Richard Dempsey is directly behind Stingray Graham, who has moved his way into P number 3, but Matty Will holds on to second. Richard Dempsey around the outside now of Stingray Graham. Can he get into third position? He does. Graham does not fight him too hard and allows him to move on through. An absolutely crazy start to that race. The end of lap number 1 was madness. Buster became a gearhead, went around as well. That was an absolute mental end to lap number 1, which is a real shame, as we will have a look at what happened to Mr. Anders here out of the final turn, and it looked like that may have been contact from number 20. He went around and he fell down. A good job avoiding from a lot of the drivers there. Here is Meckham. He's in 7th position. He is trying to defend from Powski in 8th. You can see how much the field has thinned out here. Battles going on ahead as Stingray Graham loses out to Wyatt Way. Graham really taking advantage of the incident early on, and now he is going to start to fall down the order. It seems we're on lap number 3. Iron Tequila gets past Mintu the White Husky, falling down to the 130, but then Iron Tequila's gone off in the 32 around the through the S's in the exit turn number 3. He's going to rejoin, but he is going to be behind Mintu the White Husky, and most likely with a slowdown too. So he's going to have to deal with that when he's got Provi and the recovering Al Latufu. I feel so bad for Al Latufu, caught up in that incident. He is a championship contender, and right now he's all the way down in 19th. Those drop weeks are going to come in handy, it looks like, here at Road Atlanta for Al Latufu. He gets heavy on the brakes in towards turn number 7 and will continue to fight there, as it looks like a change as Richard Dempsey has got past Matty Gwill along the not straight, back straight, and I would like to see how that happened there. If we're able to, we're going to jump back here and see how this move happened for Richard Dempsey along the back of the track. Here's Mintu the White Husky. Looks like he's gone off. Iron Tequila and Al Latufu has made his way through. Richard Dempsey in the slipstream moves to the left and makes that move look extremely easy. And he will hold on to P2 here. 6/10 gap over Matty Gwill already. As it looks like Extra Pickles is off the circuit at turn number 1. And he is going to have to recover after such a great start. Started in P4, moved into P number 2. He's down to P13. What's happened to him at turn number 1? He's chasing down the 62 machine of Meckham. Heads into turn number 1, looks to the inside. Just gets his bumper caught underneath Meckham there. Overcooks it and throws it off the racing circuit. That is a shame, as Crisps is somewhere behind that racing sign. It looks like he has gone off the track. There he is. Oh, my word. Almost corrected by Sean Sims there. But Crisps has gone around and will be recovering. Matty Gwill has lost about a second now to Richard Dempsey in the last lap. And he's got Wyatt Way just about half a second behind right now. Brandon Wimley gets past Jimmy Montoya, and it looks like Montana has got some issues, possibly. No, it looks like he is just having some connection issues rather than any racing issues. Powski behind Bob's Jelly here into turn number 12. This is for P number 6, the 03 machine chasing down the number 5 machine in towards turn number 1 here of lap number 5. Look at the rear end of Bob's Jelly machine there. It's already heavily damaged, and that just shows you how much beating and banging we've got. And I can tell you right now, this race is already more hectic than that Radical race, and I said at the beginning of the stream that I thought it might be, and it is. This is absolutely fantastic right now to witness as the Hernstadt is chasing down Eric Jägel. That's a potential battle for the top 10. Slugger is in P number 9. Not great for yet another championship contender. Al Latufu has recovered. He's up into 16th position, but he is an extremely long way off of any more positions. Down 11 from his 5th position start. It's not been a great race for Al Latufu. Like I said, those 2 drop weeks are going to come really into handy here as a back marker jumps out the way as Raceway chases down Matty Gwill for third position. 13 minutes left on the clock. Somehow, we're not even halfway through the race yet, but you can just see how close number 3 is to number 6, and grass being kicked up there, coming through the final corner, racing in that Matt Malone patron paint, which you can also drive if you subscribe to Matt Malone on his Patreon, and you can also get involved in this league by doing the same thing. Up towards turn number 3 now, and you just see how close Raceway is. We're going to ride on board here of the number 3 machine, and he is just all over the rear of Matty Gwill. Matty Gwill's not going to want this, of course. He's got Matt Malone and Richard Dempsey, both championship rivals, in front of him. He's not going to want Way to get involved in that as well. Way backs out a little bit. You can hear the throttle just coming off. He doesn't want to try and make the move just yet. And it's an easy reason why. Now he can get the slipstream along the not straight back straight and move just like Richard Dempsey did past Matty Gwill up towards the braking zone of turn 10. And that could confirm in the position. You can see Richard Dempsey in the distance there, but that is not Matt Malone in front of him. Matt Malone is 6 seconds clear. He is having a clean and easy race in this one. Raceway does not move past Matty Gwill, still right behind, piling the pressure on, but not making the move. A train for P12 is following Tony Jabroni, and that's a move in the background. Showtime up the inside of Eric Jägel into turn number 10, and Showtime makes it stick, but can he hold it on the exit? Yes, he can, and here comes Aulatufu. Tried to take advantage of Jägel being a bit slow, and he does. Aulatufu moves into 15th position. This is exactly what Aulatufu needed, as Dodo Deadman turned to pit lane and not having a great race alongside Chris as well. Through turn number 1 goes Aulatufu, 15th position. He is on his road to recovery. I'd say a top 10 would be a fantastic recovery for Aulatufu in this race if he is able to make it there. Smoke ahead will certainly move him up some positions, or was that just another back marker? It looks like it was another back marker there. Kicking up that gravel, and off the circuit goes Showtime, and through goes Aulatufu for P14. Another slow car ahead here, and I think that's Eric Jägel driving slowly as well. As a spin for the 84. Showtime's around, and Jägel's onto the grass. And that's going to be a real shame for Showtime, as it looks like Pawski has gone off as well, and that's the 31 machine heavy into the wall. What has happened here for Pawski? Because he is still running very slowly there. What has happened here? As we watch this replay, Pawski coming along the not straight, back straight into turn number 9, and the back marker just moves to the left, unsighted. And that is a real shame for Pawski, into the wall, and a huge hit for that back marker, the 31 of Gabriel Mazzotti. An accident, that is just a racing incident, an unfortunate accident, I think. Just unsighted, so many cars behind there, that back marker. That is a real shame for Pawski. Showtime recovers and moves up into P16, but Aulatufu in all of that is in P11. I said P10 would be a great recovery drive. I say he could go even further here. As he moves to the left-hand side of Tony Jabroni, he's going to go for the outside through turn number 6. Can Aulatufu make it work? No, he can't. He's going to back behind, but it's a spin in front of him, and he avoids contact. And Tony Jabroni goes around, but Aulatufu remains nice and clean. And he's up to 10th position, but he does have Totally Racing all over him in the slipstream now as they head through turn number 8 and on the not straight, back straight. And Totally Racing is not going to let Aulatufu off easily here, as Raceway is once again extremely close to Matty Gwill, but does not go through. The Hernster has got a black flag, which is a shame for him, down in 28th position. Aulatufu holds on to Totally Racing. Is Totally Racing going to possibly try to use Aulatufu as a little bit of a buffer, try to use his toe to move him forward up the order as well? It's 4 seconds to Extra Pickles, the driver who managed to go from 4th to 2nd on the race start. He's fallen to P9 at the moment in this race. This is back up towards the battle for P3. It's Matty Gwill leading Wyatt Way, but it is extremely tight here. Up 2 positions in this race, Wyatt Way, starting in 6th. He's wanting to move up a 3rd if he can make it work past Matty Grill. Matty Grill obviously started in 2nd position, but he's fallen down to 3rd and possibly 4th here because Wyatt Way's looking for the same move that Richard Dempsey did. He moves to the left-hand side and he gets the overtake, but can he confirm it on the brakes here into turn 10A? He's got the overlap, he's got his car ahead, but he loses the rear end! Wyatt Way goes around and Matty Grill recovers into 3rd position. Way is just having to wait for cars to go through as he falls down the order, and Wyatt Way moves down to 8th position. That was such an unfortunate mistake to make after moving into 3rd, and that gives Matty Grill now a 3-second gap buffer zone over Stingray Graham. Aula Tufu is now only 2.5 seconds behind Extra Pickles. He could really make this move work here, and with that mistake from Wyatt Way, Extra Pickles is now only a second behind Wyatt Way. So there is an opportunity to get up to 8th position here. Eric Yeagle and Gabriel Mazzotti both with black flags in this race. They'll have to return to pit lane to serve those penalties. Aula Tufu continues his recovery drive. We'll go have a look at how Slugger is doing here in the number 20 machine. He's chasing down the 62 of Mecharm. There's about 3 tenths between them here, and just ahead battling for P4 is Stingray Graham being chased by Bob's Jelly. Matt Malone is looking like he is definitely going to take his 2nd victory of the season, and he will take the lead in the championship with that, with the 2 drop weeks. He is bouncing back strong from Mosport with such a horrendous race there. He's decided, no, I'm not going to let that pull me down. He's gone pole and he's chasing away towards the race victory here. Slugger in 7th position, chases down Mecharm as right click moves past Showtime for 17th position. Showtime is down in the pit lane with a black and orange flag. What has happened there here for Showtime? He's had a few issues this race, and it looks like another one heading up towards turn number 7 on the brakes. Nope, nothing there, nothing doing, but on the exit, losing the rear end and a huge hit with the rear left quarter panel of the machine, and that, as you can see, has absolutely destroyed his suspension, so he will not be continuing in that machine. Mr. Anders moves up to 14th position. He is probably would have been hoping for a little bit better, but it doesn't look like any technical issues for him this week, which is fantastic, as that's the 03 machine, and Pawski going late on the brakes, goes very deep, and Mr. Anders moves on through. Black flag still for Jimmy Montana in 22nd position, and Gabriel Mazzotti in 30th. Showtime in the pit lane with his black and orange flag, but this is Bob's Jelly heading up into turn 10A, right on the rear of Stingray Graham. Doesn't quite make that move stick though, and is going to have to hold onto P number 5 in his Lucky Charms machine. He is really looking for this position though, with the rear end of his machine absolutely beaten and broken. Fortunately, it's not the front. No aero damage, it looks like, on the front of his number 5 machine, which will allow that slipstream to be really working well for him as they go along the not straight, back straight. But it's Matt Malone leading the way ahead of Richard Dempsey by almost 10 seconds. I say that, by 10 seconds, and increasing. Has something happened to Richard Dempsey? He seems to be slowing down significantly. Has he gone off of the circuit, perhaps? I'm trying to have a look. It doesn't look like he did, but he has just lost a significant amount of time in a very short space of time to Matt Malone and to Matty Grill behind. Only 1.5 seconds now to Matty Grill behind. Stingray Graham's only a further 2 seconds behind that, followed by Bob's Jelly, which is now a second. But actually, this entire... I would be hard-pressed, but I might call this a train, a fight even, between Stingray Graham, Bob's Jelly, Mecharm, and Slugger, and could they work together to put themselves up to Matty Grill and possibly even Richard Dempsey, who's only just exiting turn 10B. This could be a very close fight towards the end of this, obviously with about 2 laps to go, 3 laps to go, sorry. as we head on to that 13 of expected 15. This could possibly be a nice fight towards the end of this race. There's another fight going on, being led by Mintu the White Husky. It's Mr. Anders directly behind. Then it's this man here, Right Click in 14th, followed by Pawski in 15th. A lot of drivers who've had some issues recovering in this race. Talking about a driver who's recovering, here's Aula Tufu, P number 9. He has got past Wyatt Way, and he is looking to get past Extra Pickles here for 8th position. With the gap being almost 10 seconds to Slugger ahead of Extra Pickles, I think that P8 is the best Aula Tufu's going to do, but that is a fantastic recovery drive with that lap 1 incident. We're going to watch this and see if anything is doing for Aula Tufu. Do he turn behind Extra Pickles if he's going to make the move? Is he going to wait for the slipstream along the not straight back straight, or is he going to try and make the move here? He looks a little bit to the inside, a slight lock up, he runs deep, that's on the grass, and a big mistake there. It'll form an Aula Tufu standard, and he drops down to 1.5 seconds back as Mr. Anders has received a black flag in an incident that has happened at turn number 3. Let's have a little watch here at what has happened as we watch Mr. Anders head up towards turn number 1. He's chasing down the 130 machine of Mintu the White Husky. Into turn number 1 he goes. It's turn 3 where he caught on to the end of the accident. But Mr. Anders here is gonna, what a slight wobble, and then a big hit from the 03 machine behind, and then another car getting involved, but it was the 03 machine that caught him there, and he is going to fall down the order. The 03 machine being Pawski, so a real shame for Pawski, has probably just got past Pawski and moves into 19th position. So black flag for Mr. Anders, for Jimmy Montana, for Buster became a gearhead, and for Gabriel Mazzotti, but it is a fight still for P4. Bob's Jelly being chased by Slugger, being chased by Mecharm. The gap between Richard Dempsey and Matty Will has re-increased to 3 seconds. The gap between Matty Will and Bob's Jelly has re-increased to about 4 seconds. And the gap between Matt Malone and Richard Dempsey is holding steady at about 9. Less than a minute left on the clock means next lap we will get the white flag. Matt Malone is looking like he is going to win for the second time this season and solidify his championship lead with the drop weeks. Onto the brakes goes Slugger as he chases down the number 5 of Bob's Jelly for P number 4. They cross the line. The white flag is out. It is the final lap of this race, and this is the 3-car train. Bob's Jelly has a back marker in front of him. Who is that? That's the number 29 machine. I'm trying to figure out who that 29 machine is because he is getting in the way. He dumps out the way. That is Wimler. He jumps out of the way and allows Bob Jelly through, but after a little bit of contact, Bob Jelly really had to say, like, come on, dude, let's get out of the way. He did. That was, yeah, Brandon Wimler sits in 18th position in this race. That back marker definitely has dropped Mecharm out of this fight, so it's now a Slugger versus Bob's Jelly fight as they head up towards the back straight. But this is Matt Malone, a driver we have not looked at since lap number 1. He pulled his lead immediately with the contact and craziness that was going on behind. He comes out of turn 10B, heads into turn 11. Matt Malone is going to be the first double winner of the season. He crosses the line in P number 1 as we look at Richard Dempsey in P2, and Slugger and Bob's Jelly are off. They're both off. And Slugger's had to go wide. He's got to slow down. Bob's Jelly's got to slow down. Could this give Mecharm a position? No, it doesn't. Slugger by Bob's Jelly. Let's have a replay of what happened there as they head up towards turn number 10. What has happened in the fight for P number 4? There's contact. Bob's Jelly moves to the left and they both run incredibly deep. It looks like they both just managed to serve their slowdown in time because Mecharm closed that gap. Here he comes, there he is, and he just wasn't able to do anything with it, which is a real shame, as Matt Malone is your race winner, as a big explosion. He's decided he did not want to live in a Porsche for one lap longer. As drivers all come across the line, it looks like we have got everyone across the line then. What a fantastic race that was. And with it, let's have a look at the race results. Matt Malone, 2 wins in the first 4 rounds, and with the 2 drop weeks applied, he will be leading the championship. Richard Dempsey, almost 10 seconds back, will finish in P2, followed by Matty Gwill in P3. Going into this race, the 3 of those drivers were tied at the top of the championship with a win apiece with the 2 drop weeks. It's going to be interesting to see how the championship stands. Slugger recovered to P4 in this race. Bob's Jelly finished in P5, followed by Mecharm. Stingray Graham saw himself near the front of the race early on after the accidents that happened, but he fell down to P number 7. And Extra Pickles, after getting from 4th to 2nd, finishes the race in 8th. Aula Tufu, taken out at turn number 12 on lap number 1, did a fantastic recovery drive, as high as he could possibly make it, possibly not. 9th position. He was only a second off of Extra Pickles. That mistake on the exit of turn 6 definitely cost him. Wyatt Way rounds out your top 10, and Iron Tequila finished the race in 11th, followed by Mintu the White Husky. In P13, it was Totally Racing, Sean Sims in 14th, and Right Click rounded out your top 15, and all the drivers finishing on the lead lap. Behind that, it was Turbo Snail, followed by Mr. Anders, Brandon Wimler, Provi, Tony Jabroni, Richard Burton, Diabetes Wolf, and Jimmy Montana. 24th was Buster Became a Gearhead, followed by Powski, Showtime, and Greg Gorilla Fornek. There were a few more drivers in that for some reason aren't counted on here, probably because of how many laps down they were. But Eric Yeagle in 28th, followed by Gabriel Mazzotti, the Hernster, Crisps, and Dodo Deadman in 32nd position. What a fantastic race that was then. And with that, I think it will definitely be time to have a look at what the championship standings are going to look like after that race. Of course, Matt Malone is going to be at the top of the standings with the 2 wins apiece. But let's have a look where everyone else stands. Matt Malone in the lead of the championship with 50 points, 2 wins in his 2 races that have been counted because of the drop weeks. Richard Dempsey is second in the championship with 46 points, and Matty Gwill in 3rd position with 43. Slugger is in 4th with 42, and it's Aula Tufu in 5th with 38. We will talk through the full championship standings at the start of next race when I have time to convert their real names on iRacing into their nicknames of the league, because it's really hard to be able to talk you through a league where so many names are different. 37 drivers, I correct myself, have put in points at some point in the races that have been counted so far this season. I hope to see you in the next race then, next Saturday in the Ligier P3s at Road America. A fast car, a fast track. It is going to be a fantastic one. To catch up with all of the races, head over to the Beehive Bill YouTube channel. There is a playlist of all the races so far this season, and the extended highlight videos are being released, with round 1 being released last night. So if you want to catch up with the highlights, then be sure to go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. That is it from me here at Beehive Bill. I hope you have had a fantastic day and you have enjoyed the stream. I will catch you in the next one.
Well, the engines fire up on a Saturday night. Virtual rubbers burning, everything feels right. It's not about fame, no sponsors in sight. Just the Matt Malone League holding on tight. He's the mustache master, chaos king supreme. Matt Malone's a driver at the heart of the team. From Miatas to trucks, it's a wild dream. You never know what's next, it's a racing meme. Oh, we drive, we dive, we laugh and scream every one race you'll feel deprived, 'cause the league ain't just fast, it's alive. So salute to the folks who crash with pride, who take a jump line or go wide on the ride. From the back of the grid to the checkered side, you're part of the legend with Malone as guide. Oh, we drive, we dive, we laugh and scream. Every week's a twist in this wild machine. From ovals to road, it's a fever dream. In the Malone League, we live the stream. Behind Bill calls the play-by-play, with a buzz in his voice and a flair display. It's a lot of fun, it's a little bit hectic. Malone League love, full throttle electric. No pit strategy could plan this mess, but that's what makes it the very best. We ain't pros, but we pass the test, 'cause we race with heart. Forget